Bear Down Bears fans, it is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Question on the table today: should the Chicago Bears part ways with Akiem Hicks? Let's talk about it right after this. And if you are new to the channel, please like the video, please subscribe to the page, because we do talk Chicago sports weekly, pretty much daily, and we don't want you to miss a thing, so make sure that you hit that bell. Now, of course, there's going to be some cap casualties, especially with how the salary cap has decreased. I believe it was 195 last year, and it's all the way down to 182 this year. That's going to put a squeeze on a lot of teams. So there's going to be some players on this team that we're going to see go. And the question that I have for you is, should the Chicago Bears look to part ways with Akiem Hicks? And I think Akiem is more of a likely casualty in this cap casualty, somebody whose name will be at the top because of a few different factors just going into his game, his age, and the other players that are still available that you could part ways with, like a Kyle Fuller. If you cut Kyle Fuller, you would essentially get back $11 million in cap space. But to me, Kyle Fuller is still maybe he's a little bit overpaid for the corner position. But he's still somebody who, if you've got a good pass rush attacking, you can utilize. And with Eddie Goldman getting put back into the mix this season, I think that the Bears will be able to kind of revitalize that pass rush, at least be able to slow down the run. And again, the fact that Eddie Goldman is coming back also kind of to me leaves Akiem at the top of that list, because you would clear about $11.5 million if you parted ways with Akiem Hicks. Now the question is it worth parting with him? Is he somebody who is a integral part of your defense that you need on that side of the football to be successful? And to me, Akiem, I love Akiem. He's one of those players that has ingrained himself in Chicago culture, Chicago lore, you know what I'm saying, where when we think about that defense, we think about Akiem Hicks bursting through the middle. But the problem is we haven't seen Akiem have that great season like we saw since 2018, that season that ingrained him in our minds. You know what I'm saying? Those first 3 seasons he was here, 7 sacks, 8.5 sacks, 7.5 sacks, and he was assisted on sacks left and right, got a bunch of combined tackles. That was the guy we knew. But after 2018, injuries just took their toll on Akiem Hicks's body, and he just hasn't been able to replicate that, to the point where 2019 didn't play nearly as much, only playing in 5 games and only able to create 1 sack. And then even last season, when you think about his numbers from last season, he played in more games. We kind of all knew he was more injured than he was letting on, but still only missing 1 game and only being able to put up 3.5 sacks. Now, Akiem Hicks, to me, has become more important to the Chicago Bears being able to stop the run. Absolutely. We saw when Akiem Hicks was not in there, Dalvin Cook was able to cook. And he's really a deterrent to other teams coming in thinking that they're just going to run the football down your throat. But Akiem Hicks without Eddie Goldman next to him at times looked like he was a little bit overmatched, a little overpowered. Now, the other thing is, does getting Goldman next to him again change his game? Does getting Goldman back in there revitalize him into the player he was in 2018? I want to know you guys' opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Should the Chicago Bears part ways with Akiem Hicks to get a little bit of money under the cap? Y'all let me know. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Like I was saying, when getting Goldman back in there could revitalize his game to that 2018 season. But to me, the Bears are at a point where you have to start asking the question, am I willing to trade defense for offense? Am I willing to trade defense for offense? Because you're trying to get essentially, you're trying to pull off a pipe dream of a trade with Russell Wilson. If it goes through, it's a Christmas miracle. Everybody kumbaya up in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? But you still have some of those same problems on the offensive side of the ball on the line. So take a little bit of that money that you had on the other side of the ball, because we've invested a ton into this defense, right? Are you willing to take a little bit of that money, take some away from there, and put it on the offensive side of the ball? Now, what I mean by that is we've seen, yesterday we saw the Chiefs cut both offensive tackles, and they let their center go into free agency. And so there are offensive linemen out there who, listen, maybe were injured last year, maybe just didn't perform at a great level, but were still very serviceable starting offensive linemen in this NFL. The fact that they're out there, you need to start clearing some cap space if you can, and see if you can get some of those guys in there to solidify what you have on the offensive line. And does that mean that, yeah, look, I might have to give up Akiem Hicks, I might have to give up Kyle Fuller to put those pieces in place? Yeah, so it takes your defense from a top 10 defense to maybe a top 15 defense. I mean, there's still a ton of names on that defense, but to me, again, that's kind of why I say if you're going to move on from anybody, Akiem Hicks, in my opinion, Akiem Hicks would be the guy that the Bears should part ways with, because you get that $11.5 million. You still have technically your number one DB. You've still hopefully got your number two DB in Jalen Johnson, depending on if this blockbuster trade goes down for a quarterback. You've still got Eddie Jackson. You've still got Roquan Smith. You've still got pieces on this defense that you can use, still be a pretty respectable defense. And when you think about, I keep telling Muggs, think about who the best teams were in the NFC and AFC title games last season. They were top 5, top 10 offenses. Now, does that mean that defense doesn't win championships? I'm not saying that. To me, you can't say that, because a top 5 defense was in the Super Bowl and ends up winning it in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But what I'm saying is, to get into the dance, you have to have one of those top offenses. I mean, you just look at it. Chiefs number 1, Bills number 2, Titans number 3, Buccaneers were 7. That's what's going to get you into a position to be in the NFC title game season in and season out, to be going to the Super Bowl. You have to get your offense in a position where it is a competitive offense. And so because of that, you do have to trade some of your defense for offense. And I think that if you're going to do that, the piece that getting rid of that will hurt the Bears least, due to the fact that Eddie Goldman supposedly should be coming back. Ryan Pace seemed pretty confident that Eddie Goldman will be coming back. So if he is coming back, you have somebody who can stand in there and take those reps. And so to me, if it were me, as tough as it is to say, I would probably part ways with Akiem Hicks, get the $11.5 million, try and make something happen with the quarterback position. But at a minimum, you have to fix this offensive line. There's going to be offensive linemen out there that you can go after. Use that money to go get one of them. But as always, I want to know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. Should the Bears part ways with Akiem Hicks? I'll be down there talking with you as well. To continue watching our Chicago Bears content, click the links here or check the links in the description below. Hey, it is your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.